קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. כי במקלי עברתי את הירדן, אתה הייתי בשני מחנות.
Shalom, my name is Yonaton Behar. I'm originally from New York, Jackson Heights, Queens. My wife is from Toronto, Jackie. We have 6 children. About, let's see, 1984, the community of Har Bracha was created. It was first started by a group of people who belonged to Gush Emunim, the block of the faithful, which was which was created by Rabbi Tzvi Yehuda HaKohen Kook. And in each community, the community itself was started by the establishment of a yeshiva, because that's really the tradition of the Jewish nation that we learned from Jacob. When he went down to Egypt, the first thing he did was he set up a Beit Midrash. He set up a learning hall in order to teach Torah, in order to teach the ideals of Judaism, and in order to litaken et olam, to make a tikkun olam, to better the world. And that's basically what the Torah is all about, is bettering the world, and that's what we are learning in the yeshivot here in Israel and in all the communities of Judea and Samaria. When we first came to this community in Har Bracha in 1984, it was started on Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel Independence Day. A group of families came up to settle here, and from what I understand, I was not here at the time, but from what I understand, it was a very strange day, because usually at that time of the year of Independence Day, the weather is pretty nice. But on that day, it started hailing, and it started pouring, and it was just, on one side you had the Gush Emunim people, on the other hand you had the Shalom Akshav, the Peace Now people, who were against settling this area because they believed that it belonged to the Arabs, that there should be an Arab state here and not Jews living here. And the army and the police were in the middle, and it was a wild scene, but thank God the Gush Emunim people were stronger and much louder, and in the end what happened was 30 houses were brought to this community. They were placed on stilts. They were built like Lego houses. They were put together very quickly. 30 houses. They still are here in this community to this day, in the center of the community. What happened was there were about 10 families who came, who were willing to settle in this mountain. We're a very high mountain. The elevation here is 890 meters above sea level. In the winter it gets very cold. We get snow here. I came up here with my wife. We were living in Beit El at the time. We were a young family. We had 1 child. I said to my wife, maybe it's time that we found a place of our own to build and to establish like Beit El and to turn into a city. We moved here. That was the first day of the first Intifada, 1988, if I'm not mistaken. And we were the 13th family to come to Har Bracha. And the community decided that we needed a rabbi. So I said, listen, I had learned under a very special person in Beit El when I was there. His name was Eliezer Melamed. He wasn't a rabbi at the time. I said, I think he might be appropriate. So we invited him up here, and he gave a number of classes, and people were very impressed. The community of Har Bracha today, thank God, numbers close to 300 families here. We have a yeshiva, which has about 150 boys at any given time studying. We have Rabbi Melamed started a program called Shiluvim, which means combining Torah studies and academic studies. Rabbi Melamed has a very special man. He says he does not want a student who is not going to become a rabbi or an educator to continue learning Torah. He says that's a desecration of God's name. Instead, after their 3 or 5 years of learning in yeshiva. He sends them out to get a college degree, and in the evening they return to the Beit Midrash, to the learning hall, and they learn for a certain amount of hours every month. They sign a contract, they get a stipend, they get their food from the yeshiva, they get housing here in the dormitory, and it's a very, very special program. It's for women also, and there are about approximately 80 to 100 students learning in that program, the Shiluvim program presently. They've heard the good name that the yeshiva has obtained, and they want to come and learn from Rabbi Melamed, who has become one of the top rabbis in the Zionist religious community. Actually, now we're on Bein Hazmanim, which is the vacation break between Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, and the beginning of the Elul session, which will start, please God, in another week or two. So today you'll see that the learning hall is relatively empty. There are still a few students here. But as you can see here, this is the learning hall. These are the books that the boys study from. This is Jewish wisdom of our rabbis and our sages throughout the generations, all in these books, and that's what the boys study day and night. You can come here at 1 o'clock in the evening at night, and you can find a place full with guys energetically learning Torah, learning the Bible, and trying to get to the truth, trying to make the world a better place. Up front is the Holy Ark, and our Rabbi Melamed, decided to put his motto, basically, you can say, on the top of the Holy Ark, and it says, B'chol derachecha dayehu, which means, in every way, know God. And that's basically the motto of Rav Melamed. In other words, everything you do, everything a Jew does in this world, you should always do it with the knowledge that God is with him and leading his way, and try and find the holy spark in everything, even in mundane things, whether you're going to the supermarket and buying food. Here in Israel, it's a mitzvah. Here, it's a commandment, because you're helping to build and settle the land of Israel. Whether you go into the army, whether it's, no matter what it is, always find that holy spark. And that's really the motto of our community here in Har Bracha, is to always try and make a Kiddush Hashem, to try and sanctify God's holy name in every way possible. We're looking now at the new dining room and kitchen that we have built for the yeshiva. Thank God the yeshiva is growing so fast that our present dining room just isn't big enough for Shabbat and for holidays, when all of the yeshiva students are here, and when we have guests coming from all over Israel and from outside of Israel to come and visit Har Bracha. There's just not enough room, so we had to build a new building, a beautiful building. These are the 2 dormitories for the yeshiva students, one over there and one over there. And we're now building 5 new buildings. You can see in the distance. Those will be also apartments for young families who are learning in the yeshiva. The husband is learning in yeshiva, or in the Shiluvim program, which we said, which combines the college degree and yeshiva. And they'll have beautiful apartments, but very cheap. Rabbi Melamed keeps all the prices down to minimum and tries to build the houses in the cheapest way possible and in the quickest way possible, because the most important thing is to get as many Jews to come and live in Har Bracha and in Judea and Samaria as possible, so that there will be no question, God forbid, of throwing Jews out of their houses. Because today in Ariel, in the city of Ariel, which is about 20 minutes south of here, there are 20,000 people there, and nobody would, in their right mind, would consider expelling and throwing out a city of 20,000 people. But a community of 300 families, well, that's a lot easier. Therefore, we don't want to remain 300 families. We want to grow as fast as possible. And we're doing all of our best efforts to build as many houses as possible and as quick as possible, and to have as many new families come here as quick as possible, in order to grow to the size that there would not be any doubt about whether we're staying here, because we are staying here. We are permanent here in Har Bracha, in Samaria, in Judea. It's our land, and God willing, we would love to have more people, more families, young families, come here and help us grow and into a city like Ariel.
קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית את עבדך. קטונתי מכל החסדים ומכל האמת אשר עשית